going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Since the death of that CO last year at Ross Correctional Institution, multiple inmates have been found dead. Two were found hanging, and one was found beaten to death. Now, you guys and I definitely implore you guys to look it up for yourself. But there has been many complaints from inmates and inmates' family about staff retaliation on inmates since that inmate killed that officer. Now, I left Ross in 2019, and it's one of them good old boy prisons. A bunch of country boys work there and girls. A lot of them are related, grew up together. Chillicothe, it's where Ross is at. It's a small town. And them staff are tight. And you better believe they took that personal when that man died. Now, the only place I was at where I can kind of give a comparison was Lucasville. I wasn't there for the riots, but every year I was there in 2007, which was from 2007 to 2009, which was 14 to 16 years after the riot, and they were still retaliating on inmates every year on the anniversary of that officer's death. The complaints are that the SRT, basically the SRT team, they call it the CERT team. We call them the Men in Black. Basically, what it is in prison they got these trained. They're regular COs, but there's a group of regular COs that get extra special training, and they're the special response team. So if like a riot jumps off, if they got to do a big time drug search or a big time shakedown or a cell extraction, or if they got to just go up in somewhere because some violence is gonna jump off, the SRT team, they're the commando squad. They'll go suit up. They're the ones who get all the gear on, the riot gear, helmets, pads, the shield, the clubs, the guns if necessary. It's those guys. And what's happening is they're just calling for an excessive amount of lockdown shakedowns where they're locking the whole prison down, and then the SRT team is coming through and they're roughing people up and they're tearing shit down, and people are being found dead, and inmates are getting battered and beaten and abused, and there's just been numerous complaints of this shit. And I can tell you for a fact that the shit goes on. And Ross ain't the only prison, but the worst of it is all the southern prisons: Lucasville, Lebanon, Ross, Warren, all those prisons. Them COs don't. CRC used to be another one. I guess they've straightened out, but you know, I know rumors tend to grow legs, and by the time a rumor gets back to you, it's been changed a million times. I get all that, but if you put a gun to my head and told me to guess the right answer, I'm guessing that them COs at CRC killed Ariel Castro. They don't fuck around. And guess how they found him? Hanging. Now, I started doing time in 1998 into 1999. That's when I first started doing time. And, you know, young kids tend to mouth off. Young kids, you know, especially when they first get to the penitentiary, seem to have a bit more problem with authority than the older guys that have been down and are used to it do. Young guys are usually the ones that mouth off and talk back more to COs. And when I first came down, man, the older school dudes would pull you aside and check you for mouthing off with a CO. And a lot of times, and I've been told, like, man, they'll drag your ass off in a cell and hang you from one of them pull-up bars and say you killed yourself. Chill the fuck out. You know, it used to be a thing amongst inmates. If you ain't gonna kill one of them, don't say shit to them because you're wasting your time. And that was just the mentality of the old school inmate when it came to dealing with COs. But the dynamics amongst staff and inmates have changed since then. That's almost 30 years ago. You know, I got violated. I did all that time, man. Finished up 21 years. Came home. I got a great job. I'm in a relationship, you know, nice house, nice car. Everything's going good for me. And I ended up getting violated. And I'll never forget it because it's the only time in my life, other than probably the very first time I ever went to jail, where I ever felt uncomfortable in jail. Where I ever felt like I didn't have a grasp on what was going on. And that's a beautiful thing, and I'm proud of that now. But in the moment, it was terrifying. And I'll tell you what happened real quick. I got violated, man, and now mind you, I'm getting ready to go to work. This is how my CO played me. Or my PO. I'm sorry. I won't get back into the story because I've told it in an old video, but all it was a disagreement. Me and a guy had a disagreement. My old lady and his old lady had an argument at Walmart. He started getting in it and started sizing up my chick. Me and him ended up having some words, but all it was words. When the police came and took everybody's statement, in their statement, they told the police that I made threats to them. Nobody got arrested. Nobody went to jail. But they put that in their statement that I made threats to them. Now, whenever, as a parolee, we have contact with police officers, we have to notify our PO. Because if we don't, and it pops up in their computer that we had, you know, there was a statement taken with my name in it, and I didn't notify her, they'll violate you. So the very next morning, I call my PO. I notify her, hey, this is what took place. Me and this guy had some words. The police came. We left. Everybody went on about their business. No hands was laid, no violence. So she gives me a verbal warning. She says, thank you. You're one of the very few people who have ever, you know, taken that kind of responsibility. Most guys don't say shit. She gave me my props for doing it. 2 weeks go by to the day. I'm up early in the morning. I'm getting ready to go to work, and I get a phone call, and it's my PO. And she says, hey, I got some paperwork I need you to sign. You're coming up for a review, and I'm trying to get you off. Can you swing by? And I explained to her, hey, I'm getting ready to go to work. Yeah, I'll leave a little bit early so I'm excited. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to get off parole. I get down there, and as soon as I get into the office, her and two other male POs come out, cuff me up, book me for the same incident that she just gave me a verbal warning on 2 weeks ago. That's another story. That ain't even the topic of the conversation. I just want you to understand where my mental was. I'm totally caught off guard by all of this. I get into the booking. They booked me. I sit downstairs for like 9 hours in the booking tank, stressed the fuck out. All of this is flashing before me. My job, my responsibilities, everything. The unknown, what's gonna go on, what's gonna happen. Am I gonna get out? Am I not? And they take finally after 8, 9 hours, they come and get me and they take us up to the fifth floor. Fifth floor, it's a tank, but it's kind of like booking overflow. It's where they put you. It's your next step before you either get out when you go to your arraignment, or you'll go off into the block you're going to be in until whatever happens with you happens with you. So I'm there for a parole holder. So I ended up sitting up there for one night. The very next night, they come and get me. If you've been to the penitentiary in Toledo, they typically send you to the sixth floor. More than likely, you'll go to the sixth floor. So that's where they send me. They come, they get me, tell me, get my bedroll, pack up. I'm going to the sixth. I get up there. I get up there about lunchtime. Now, I got a little bit of weed on me. So that was my in. I don't know anybody on the floor. I'm in a little tank. There's about 8 guys in there, but I ain't got shit. I'm in there on a parole holder. I don't know when I'm getting out. So I'm just getting my little odds and ends. I'm hustling me up some hygiene, hustling me up some snacks, hustle me up a pair of shorts, hustle me up a pair of flip-flops. Just hustle me up some comfort shit. And then we start getting high. I start meeting some guys. There ain't many guys in here. They're all older guys, been down for a while. There's a couple guys don't really speak too good English. They called the one guy Cuba. The block didn't seem standoffish. This is my first impression. So about by dinner time comes around, and I notice one of the guys who I had met is in the back of the dorm, and he's fishing something from the other tank. And, he gets it in and shit and whatever, and block huddles up. They all know what it is. I ain't stupid. I've been in the penitentiary. It's obviously some kind of drug. So they get it. Now, I'd have been blown with these dudes pretty much all day. So they invite me in, hey, you smoke tune. They call it tune. It's that, I don't know if it's synthetic K2. I don't know what it is, but it was on paper, and they was ripping it up and smoking it with tea bags. They was emptying out tea bags, ripping up the paper, putting it in it, and then rolling it up and smoking it. But I had seen enough horror stories from the penitentiary. I'm good. Y'all do you. I'm good. I'm the only one let's say there was 9 guys. The other 8 guys all were smoking this shit. I'm the only sober one. I'm high on weed, but I'm not smoking that shit. The first couple hours go by, and everything's okay. I mean, there was a couple situations where like a guy got stuck. He was just like standing there stuck, and shit like that. But there was no tension. There was nothing to make me feel uncomfortable. When about 9 o'clock, it shifted. They've been smoking this shit for like 3-4 hours now. And I don't know if they had just smoked too much or what. One of the guys tried to put his foot on we got these picnic tables. They're bolted down in our day room, but it's a small cramped area. And he tried to put his foot on the bench, the seating area of the picnic table. And he was so high, I don't know if he just missed the bench completely, or if his foot slipped, or if he tripped. I don't know. I didn't see the whole thing. I just know somehow he ended up losing his footing and he fell forward and he cracked his head and he was laying there looking like he was unconscious. He looked unconscious to me. After about 60 seconds, now mind you, everybody that's trying to assist this guy are also, they're tripping. They're high as hell on this shit. They're in their own state of delusion. And they're trying to assist this guy. I'm not getting involved because I'm not getting involved with this shit. I'm here for a parole violation. Every one of these dudes in here, I've come to learn, are either fighting bodies or looking at like life for dope cases. Like two of them had federal dope cases and they were looking at life. The other six guys were all fighting bodies. And then you got me in there. I'm in there. I'll be home in a month or two. I'm just in here for a PV. Right? And now they're all high, and now this guy's cracked his head, and now everybody's on 10, and everybody's tripping. They start splashing water on this guy like he's overdosing on heroin or something. He starts gurgling and making this weird ass, like, he's humming. I don't know he's conscious. He's doing this on purpose. I don't know that. I'm thinking he's hurt. Because it wasn't like musical humming. He was just making like, it was like he was hurting. So this shit lasted for like 15 minutes. And I remember at one point, I'm looking at the camera and I'm hoping to God somebody's just watching and nobody's responding to none of this. And the guy ends up waking up getting up after about a half hour, 20 minutes. And it was the longest, most uncomfortable thing ever. I don't know how else to explain it. Everybody's running around, twacked out on K2. This guy's falling. The two guys that are trying to help him are acting like he's dying. They're high. And it was crazy. He gets up. He goes in his room. They follow him in his room. They're in there for about 10 minutes. They all three walk out, and I notice immediately that they're all three holding machetes. The guy who fell, he hits the button. There's a call button you push when you need to talk to a CO. They'll come and talk to you. They'll talk to you on the speaker, and you let them know what you want. He tells them, we've had an accident. We need the mop bucket. Okay, I'll send the CO as soon as I can. And immediately they get to planning. When he comes in here, we're killing him. They were mad that the CO didn't respond. Now they're all high. They're all doing life. They take our life from us. We're taking theirs. Now they're on a vengeance to get back. And now everybody's strapped. Everybody's on board. Everybody's lacing up their shoes, tying up bed sheets, filling up fucking, making prison weapons. Everybody in there's doing life, and I'm in there for a PV where I could be home tomorrow. They keep hitting the button, man. Probably I had to endure this for another 15 or 20 minutes, and I remember almost having a panic attack. I was shook. I remember thinking, like, I'm sizing guys up. Like, what am I going to do when this shit pops off? Because when this CO comes in the block, they're going to kill him. Well, they ended up, we got two gates. There's an outside, well, it's actually a door. When they open that door, it's like a hallway the staff walks into, and then they got to unlock the gate to get into where we're at. So they can actually walk in and you can see them, and there's a gate that separates you. Well, they came like 10 deep. There was like 10 officers that came, thank God. And when they opened that gate, instead of waiting for them to walk in, I blew out of the block and went and stood out in the hallway. There was so much chaos going on in the block. It kind of was my cover to be able to even get out there. But when they approached me, they're like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" And I just told them, I said, "Listen, man, everybody in there has either already gotten a life sentence and or is facing a life sentence. And I'm in here for a PV, bro. I'm not going back in there. The tension is at 1,000,000. I don't know what's going on, what y'all just put me in the middle of. I'm not going in there." And they allowed me to move, and I didn't go back in there, and they did move me to another block. And I remember just sitting and thinking about that situation if something would have popped off and the danger that I was in. Sitting here now, the tension that goes on between staff and inmates, something so minute, something so small, can set a fire in somebody to where they'll want to kill you. Ross is a ticking time bomb right now. And it's not the only prison. Lake Erie, Toledo, Lebanon, Lucasville, Belmont, Noble, Mansfield, North Central. These places are ticking time bombs. Our prisons are overpopulated with inmates and understaffed dramatically. And these COs are playing God, coming in there playing, you know, they get them positions, man, and they try to put their foot on your neck. And now this guy comes up dead, and they want their get back. And my thing is, the inmate's gonna be the one who pays. These POs or these COs are going in there every day fucking with guys. The inmates are the one that's gonna pay, because when they retaliate, nobody's gonna give a fuck about what the CO did. So that's all, man. That's all. I want to just try to give it some. I just want to try to put it out there and let it be known, man. So when the shit starts popping off, it's out there. There's something documented. Because this shit's getting ready to pop off at Ross. So thanks for tuning in today. That's the video. Sorry if it was kind of just a rant. I just really wanted to speak on it. There should be another one dropping later. So yeah, hit the like and subscribe button, share the video, and until next time, it's the Hoodie Man. I'm out, y'all.